Hi and welcome to another GC Mysteries video, where this time we are looking into the shocking crimes of the Camden Ripper. This is the case of Anthony Hardy. Now, he is also known as the Camden Ripper. He was a serial killer who was born on the 31st of May 1951. Now, he was known as the Camden Ripper for dismembering some of his victims. And the reason he was caught was that a homeless man was rooting through bins for leftover food and came across bin liners that had body parts in. Very nice thing to find, not. But anyway, he came across these body parts and obviously contacted the police straight away. And the police confirmed that these were body parts. Now, what started as they actually got the body parts and they thought that they had one victim because they had a torso, legs, arms, and all that they were missing basically were the hands and the head. But they thought that they had one victim because as far as they could see, they'd found every body part. Only when the forensic pathologist got these body parts, they realised that this was not one body, it was in fact two bodies. Or should I say, it was two victims rather than one. So these parts of bodies weren't all from the same victim. Now, it turned out that Anthony Hardy had actually killed his first victim a whole year before these body parts were found. And so he had done it a year earlier, but never been caught. Now, the police were put on to Anthony Hardy in January 2002 when police were called to the block of flats where he lived by one of Anthony Hardy's neighbours, complaining that somebody had vandalised her front door. Now, she, for some unknown reason, strongly suspected that it was Anthony Hardy that had vandalised her door. And when the police investigated Anthony Hardy's flat, they found a locked door, and despite his claims to the contrary, that that Hardy didn't have a key for this door, is what he told the police. They found that Anthony did have a key to the door, and in the room that this locked door was on, they found the naked dead body of a woman lying on a bed with cuts and bruises to her head. Now, she was identified as Sally White. She was 38 and was a sex worker who had been living in London. Now, people, a lot of people at least, think that because these women are sex workers, so basically prostitutes, that they do not matter, because who is going to miss a prostitute? Who's really going to worry if this prostitute disappears? They spend all of their time on the streets and they always go someplace with their I suppose they would call them clients, but they always go somewhere with them. So they would disappear quite a lot, so they always thought that nobody would realise, nobody would worry. But in fact they do worry. Now, the forensic pathologist that looked at Sally White's body, did the autopsy, actually concluded that she had died of a heart attack, in spite of the circumstances of which she was found. Now, the pathologist that concluded this was called Freddie Patel, and he later came under scrutiny for that finding, and other findings in his career, which subsequently ended in a suspension from the government's register of pathologists pending an inquiry. Now, in 2012, the final nail was put in the coffin of Freddie Patel, so to speak, when his name was erased from the medical register by the GMC, or General Medical Council, meaning that he can no longer practice medicine in the United Kingdom. So he can't be a GP, he can't be a nurse, he can't be a pathologist. Basically, his career as a pathologist, or as someone in the health profession, at least in the United Kingdom, is over. But you know, Anthony Hardy actually had an uneventful childhood. He excelled in school and college, and he earned a engineer's degree from the Imperial College London, and subsequently became the manager of a large company. I'm not sure how you go from engineer and manager of a large company to serial killer. I don't know how you make that step. Clearly he did, but I don't know how. But he married, he fathered 3 sons and 1 daughter. Now, in 1982 he was arrested in Tasmania for trying to drown his wife. Now, this was after he had froze a bottle of water, and what he'd done was, when this bottle of water had completely frozen and was basically rock solid, he whacked his wife over the head with it, and then tried to drown her. Now, for some reason he was never charged with the attempted murder of his wife, and you can't help thinking that had he been charged and convicted for the attempted murder of his wife, would these women still be alive today? Or at least, would they have been killed, or died in the circumstances which they did? We'll never know the answer to that. It's a hypothetical question, but there you go. Unsurprisingly though, in 1986, Anthony Hardy's wife Judith divorced him. Now, in November 2003, Anthony Hardy was convicted. He was sentenced to 3 life terms for 3 murders. Now, if you are not familiar with UK law, normally a life sentence is a sentence that can be up to life, but normally you'll get a minimum term of 25 years or 27 years or 30 years. Unfortunately, that's how our justice system works. However, in this case, Anthony Hardy actually got a whole life tariff, meaning he would, in fact, spend the rest of his days in prison, never seeing the light of day as a free man again. And he didn't. He actually died on the 26th of November 2020, and they can't work out whether he died from sepsis or COVID-19. All they can say is that it was one of them two. So, women should feel a lot safer knowing that he spent the rest of his days in prison. He was never on the streets again. And he couldn't hurt anyone. If he did hurt anyone, it would have been another prisoner. But I would suggest that the prison guards weren't doing their job properly if that were the case. Now, they actually believe that he may have been responsible for up to 6 more murders. So they are estimating that he committed between 3 and 9 or over 9 murders. Now, his span of crimes, he was doing it from December 2000 to December 2002, and he was caught and arrested on the 2nd of January 2003. So he basically did a full 2 years killing people, basically, whenever he wanted. Now, when he was in his interrogations with police, he replied no comment to every question, but he was found guilty anyway, so his no comment interview didn't really work for him. But that's how it goes. They are allowed, unfortunately, to say no comment. But his victims, the victims that he was charged with was the murders of a woman called McLennan and the lad. Unfortunately, it doesn't say the first name, so I can't tell you. But If you want to learn more, you can simply search the Camden Ripper or Anthony Hardy and you will see more there. Thank you for watching this GC Mysteries video. If you liked it, please like, subscribe and click the notification bell. If you can, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/GC Mysteries. See us on Facebook and Twitter, GC Mysteries, and bye bye for now.